Amnesia: The Bunker is the newest game in the Amnesia franchise, and is also the first one that is actually a game. Whoa, calm down there everyone, I'm being semi-facetious. In this advanced stress simulator, you play as a French soldier during the prequel to the Second World War. Armed with the last remaining gun on the planet, you must survive one hellish afternoon underground as you are hunted down by some big, ugly, deformed fucker. I can't come up with a joke for this guy, he's just one ugly bastard. It's a momentous undertaking. The bunker is infested with rats, supplies are low, and your only source of illumination is the world's loudest flashlight. Worst of all, there's a fiendish YouTuber out there threatening to spoil the game's story if you watch his video. If you're planning to play this game, then I would suggest turning off your computer that you shouldn't have because those didn't exist in the 1910s, and playing the game for yourself. But if you're brave enough to watch the full video, then rev up your flashlight, load your last 2 remaining bullets, and get ready to explore. Alright, so here's the deal. This is the first of the 3 sequels to the original Amnesia that actually builds on the first game's gameplay loop. As opposed to A Machine for Pigs, which removed things, and Rebirth, which just brought back a few of the things that were removed, The Bunker feels like an actual attempt to iterate upon the series' formula. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been done. They put a gun in an Amnesia game. They even put 2! With that, the series has been brought kicking and screaming into the ranks of the rest of the survival horror genre. Not only that, but we got resource management, fumbling around trying to make shit fit in your inventory, and oh my god everyone, we even have a boss fight. But before I get into any real depth about the gameplay, I gotta give you the context in which this gameplay exists. The bunker is set in France during World War I. Wait a minute, I hear you ask. You mean that World War II had a prequel? Why yes, that is exactly what I mean. The public perception of the 2 world wars is much like that of the first 2 Terminator films. Everyone knows about the second one, it's a classic, with countless iconic moments that has cemented itself in the pop culture consciousness. Because of its memorable cast of characters, myriad set pieces, and epic length, it often overshadows the original. In history classes, not many people pay attention to World War I, but they should, because much like the first Terminator, it's an excellent story in its own right that also serves to lay the groundwork for many of the same narrative themes and motifs that would be present in the sequel. One of my favorite aspects of the first war is how 2 minor supporting characters would go on to be the main villains of the second one. How's that for character development? They also downgrade one of the main characters of the original into a side villain in the next entry, which is kind of weird but still an interesting story direction. Back to the bunker, you play as Henri Clement, a French soldier fighting against the Germans on the actually quite loud Western Front. It's here that you get introduced to several of the game's basic mechanics, namely the gun. Using this thing is a whole fucking process. You gotta individually load each bullet into it at a time, as well as empty out the casings after you fire your shots. You gotta be very particular with when you use this thing, you can't just start blasting. After making your way through the trenches, you meet your good buddy Augustin Lambert, who saves you from some German soldiers as well as a gas attack. Later on you return the favor and save him from the battlefield, but you get ambushed by enemy forces and knocked out in an explosion. Sometime later you awake in the bunker, dazed and stricken with amnesia regarding the events of the last few weeks. You wander around the hallways, which are strangely empty considering there's a fucking war going on. Now would be an excellent time to make a joke about how they all just ran away, because they're French and that's what they do. But actually, during World War I, France did like 70% of the heavy lifting. Not only that, but they were also one of the foremost military forces in Europe for hundreds of years. Not only that, but if you're American, as I am, they also bankrolled pretty much our entire revolution. So, the next time you want to make fun of the French for surrendering in like one conflict, just don't. You can make fun of them for eating snails though, that's fucked up, I don't know what's going on over there. That was the last history rant, I promise it's only the game from now on. After stumbling through the passageways of the bunker, you come across this injured guy who says there's a scary monster that's gonna kill him, which it does. You get a 6-shooter and enter the safe room. You heard me right, it's a safe room, complete with a save station and an item box. Every time I entered this room, I got a massive erection. There's also a map that marks where you're supposed to go next, as well as a generator which you fill up with gas to keep the lights on. Keeping the lights on is very important for 2 reasons. Firstly, this game is dark as shit, meaning you're gonna need a light source. Your primary light source is a flashlight, which you have to wind up. Doing this makes noise. Making noise attracts the monster. Attracting the monster means having to shoot. Having to shoot means losing ammo. Losing ammo means you can't fight the monster, which means you're deader than Battlefield. Second reason is that the monster doesn't like light. This means the threshold for you to be loud as shit without attracting him is a lot higher. This is good because most things you do in this game make a shitload of noise. Speaking of noise, let's take a moment to appreciate the sound design in this game. It accurately replicates the experience of being a 12-year-old going to the bathroom in the middle of the night while everyone else is asleep. The monster is a motherfucking walking paradox. He's both the main antagonist, always trying to divorce your head from your shoulders, but he's also your only constant companion, always there to remind you that you're not alone in the dark, and he could be anywhere at any time. Like the Xenomorph from A. Lamau Installation, or whatever the fuck that game was called, you can't kill him, but you can fight him. If you shoot him enough times with your gun, he gets sad and leaves. You can also use other things to fight him, like grenades, but I mostly save those for other purposes. Oh, there's also rats too. They're annoying, but they don't pose much of a threat. They do make a shitload of noise though, which can lead to the monster hearing where you are. I found this out the hard way. With regards to progression, your main overarching goal is, of course, to get the fuck out of the bunker. The exit is blocked off, so you gotta get dynamite to blow it up. The issue here is that everything is under lockdown to try and prevent the monster from getting around. That didn't work, by the way, so you have to lift said lockdown to get to the arsenal. Bullshit ass dumb game, I'm leaving a negative Steam review. Alright, never mind, I fixed it, it's all good now. With all the doors open, you're now free to explore the bunker at your heart's content, all while this big ugly motherfucker is trying to kill you. The bunker is divided into 5 main sections: medical, cells, barracks, arsenal, and maintenance. Medical is where you start out. There's no reason to ever go back there really, so who cares? Cells are prison cells. There's a single German POW there who somehow hasn't been killed yet. Next to him are bolt cutters that you need to progress. Barracks are the largest section, home to a busted radio. Arsenal is where the dynamite is, but we got a lot of shit to do before we can get that. Maintenance is this dark spooky death trap that I died like 1,000 times at. Each location, save for medical, has a central objective. You can do them in several different orders, but the way I did it was basically as follows. I went through each area doing a kind of preliminary exploration to get a feel for the layout and come to grips with the gameplay and setting. The first real objective I completed was getting a key in the maintenance area that led to a body with a dog tag that had a code for the radio room in the barracks. After listening to my favorite number station, I got a code that led deeper into the arsenal. Before I did anything else there, I had to get the bolt cutters. I was able to get the cell doors open, which was good for me and very bad for the German POW. There's a way to save him, but this is war, and war never changes. I don't see how that quote is relevant, but this is my video, so don't question it. With the bolt cutters, I was able to get even further into the arsenal and come to some ruins which seem to belong to the Otherworld civilization from Rebirth. Now would be a good time to talk about how the bunker connects to the other games in the franchise. Through notes found in-game, you find out that Henry tricked Augustin into taking his place on a patrol. After Augustin didn't come back for a few days, Henry began to feel guilty for potentially getting his friend killed and went looking for him. This is the section we play at the beginning of the game. Henry finds him in some ditch, gives him some water to drink, and that's when the game story properly begins. Augustin somehow recovers and drags Henry back to the bunker. While Henry is knocked out, Augustin begins to wonder why he was able to recover so quickly and speculates that had something to do with that water and the hole he fell into. After a few days, he starts to go insane and eventually mutates into the monster that pursues us throughout the game. That's my Cliff Notes summary of the story. I didn't find all the documents or secrets, so I don't really have a full picture of what happens, though I think the water Augustin drank is supposed to be adrenochrome, Vitae for you blue-pill normies, which is what made him go goblin mode. This would make sense considering the presence of the Otherworld ruins as well as that distortion effect from Rebirth showing back up. I don't think the game really connects too heavily with the others and is mostly meant to serve as a side story. In these ancient ruins, though, you find 3 things. Thing number 1, one of your comrades has managed to survive, but now he's batshit crazy, so you have to kill him. Thing number 2, homie was carrying a fucking trench gun. You know I'm picking that up, this thing is the shit in like every game it's in. Thing number 3, the detonator handle for the bomb we're gonna make to get the fuck out of here. Back at the main portion of the arsenal, we're able to get the dynamite bundle we need. Set up the bomb, push the detonator, and this game is fucking bullshit. Damn, they really didn't think they pulled that trick enough in Rebirth. Alright, so you end up on these bridges above this cavernous pit and you have your final showdown with the monster. You got 2 options, run away like a little pee-pee piss boy, which I tried to do at first, but then he broke the boxes, or be a man and kill the monster, which I tried to do second and was not successful at. Second attempt I got him though. Lured him onto a bridge, shot him in the face, and blew the bridge out with a nade, sending my former comrade in arms plummeting down to an eternity in the darkness. His problem, not mine. Crawl out of the tunnels, and there you go, we made it. You had your fun, now back to the war, soldier. So that was Amnesia the Bunker. This was a good-ass game. This is the direction I was hoping for these games to take 10 years ago. Taking the experience they gained from the last few projects and using it to figure out new and interesting ways to enhance the gameplay. I think with the release of this game, it's kind of the final death knell for hide-and-seek style horror games. I mean, if the granddaddy of the genre has finally added combat, no one else really has any excuse anymore. I think this is the perfect direction for the series to go in. It doesn't have to continue to up the ante. I think it can continue to occupy this slot of a kind of scaled down, more minimalist experience, but I really hope they keep the innovations here for whatever their next project is. It's kind of ironic that the one Amnesia game where you're capable of defending yourself is actually the most difficult one, but I think it shows a lot of growth on the part of Frictional. If they can continue to refine and build upon what made this game great, then I see only good things for them going forward. Hey everybody, if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thanks. It means a whole lot. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all your standard YouTube outro stuff that you always hear. And other than that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.